hear you.
Perfect. And I'm going to try and share my screen, and I hope the gods of technology are happy upon us. Are you able to see my screen okay?
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. Namaskar, everybody, and thank you so much, Sanjay Amar, for that very generous introduction. And thank you also for hosting this session today. I told my father about the session that I'll be speaking at on AI for elders, and my father has asked me to pass on his sympathies to all of you that he's suffered a lot of lectures and conversations and monologues from me. So he feels for you today, but I hope that there's something that comes out which is useful in this conversation. But before I sort of start, right, I mean, one of the things that I wanted to share was lay out what the next 30 minutes are going to look like. We'll sort of get into four big questions, right, which is on the left-hand side of the screen right now, with the first one being, what is artificial intelligence, right? So we'll try to demystify this a little bit, get a bit more technical about it, just to understand what in the world does artificial intelligence mean in the first place. The second question that I'll try and pose and try and answer as well is, why is it different this time, right? So we keep hearing about technological advances every now and then, but what makes this time special and truly special? The third question is talking a little bit about, why should we or should we even worry about AI at all? So we'll spend some time unpacking that. And finally, and probably the most interesting bit of it, is how can AI help you in your daily life, right? So how can we use AI in a way that it sort of makes our life a lot more easier? So those are sort of the four broad questions that we'll go into. Three things I just wanted to share before I dive into it. Number one, these are all very broad trajectory, broad concepts. We're not going to get very technical about it. Happy to do that when we get to the Q&A if you'd like. We'll also talk a little bit about the factors that have led to AI's growth, understand about how AI can help and how we can guard against the ill effects of AI. Right? What you shouldn't expect is any skills in coding, any understanding of technology beyond broadly AI. So we won't get into wearables, we won't get into drones and all of that. We won't talk about policy implications of technology and AI, and we will not have an exhaustive list of AI tools. We will talk about some tools, but we won't get into a very long list of tools. The last thing before I dive in is a few disclaimers. As I said, it's going to be a broad overview. So if there are data scientists amongst the audience today, I apologize in advance. We'll be painting a lot of these concepts with broad strokes, just to make sure we're able to cater to a wide variety of audience. Second is, the style might be a little pedagogic. So, that's something we'll try and get into the science of it, try and understand the specifics around it, but hopefully it's also engaging at the same time. And finally, you might not leave any wiser today, but hopefully you'll have a better framework at hand, a few better questions to ask about AI at the end of it all. So with all that out of the way, I'll just sort of, get into it. And since memes are the best way to communicate in today's day and age, I'll start with one or a couple here, actually. What is AI, right? So there are two ways to broadly look at it, right? So the critiques typically would say AI is essentially, statistics dressed up as artificial intelligence. While there is some amount of truth to it, the truth is also that AI is truly interdisciplinary. A lot of the algorithms in AI, a lot of the science and the math that goes behind it is more than just statistics. It's an intersection of several other sciences, whether it is neuroscience, whether it's philosophy, whether it's psychology, that essentially goes into build what you and I today see as artificial intelligence, right? So, if you were to sort of lift under the hood a little bit and try and understand, there are a lot of terms that are thrown around in AI. There's artificial intelligence, machine learning, LLMs, generative AI, generalized AI, self-aware AI, reactive AI, and so there are a lot of different ways to actually slice this entire space and look at what does AI mean. I'm just going to look at one of those, which is on the right-hand side of the screen right now, which is, if you look at the largest umbrella that is out there, which is AI, this is any technique that essentially helps a machine to mimic how humans behave, right? So this is a very wide umbrella of different concepts, different sciences, and different technologies, which can then be, sort of clustered and talked about as AI. A subset of this is machine learning, right? These are essentially tools and techniques and statistics that machines use to essentially learn from the data that is out there, right? So these are techniques that help in sort of translating what data is out there into the way in which the machine is sort of able to interpret that data. A smaller set of this is deep learning. So if you go one level below machine learning is where you find deep learning, which is actually a use of a technique called multi-layer neural networks. And these are multi-layer neural networks, right? So we won't get into the math of this, but very interesting mathematics, which tries to mimic, it is an assumption, it's a hypothesis of how neurons tend to communicate in the human brain. It tries to mimic that, of course. It is not a human thinking. So it is still a mathematical formula that is doing all of this, but this is what deep learning essentially entails. LLMs or generative AI, ChatGPT, and everything that you hear about today, which has created all of that buzz, is again a smaller subset of deep learning, which is these are large scale deep learning models. So they have multiple layers of deep learning networks and have a transformer like architecture, right? So I leave it at that, but happy to go into questions if there's any specific interest in trying to understand or demystify how each of these differ from each other. But suffice to say right now, LLMs are sort of a very, very small subset of what artificial intelligence entails. Of course, a lot of our conversation today, a lot of the conversation in the public right now is focused on generative AI and LLMs, but there's a lot more interesting stuff that's happening in AI outside of this space as well. Now, this is the most detail that we're going to get, so please bear with me. After this, we'll not get into a lot of the scientific details, but I thought it might be interesting to go one level deeper again and sort of look a little bit under the hood, right? So what do we really mean when we say a machine is learning, right? There are three broad caricatures across which a machine learns, right? The first caricature is unsupervised, right? So if you take an example, you have an input of three different colored balls, right? You have the reds, you have the blues, and you have the greens. So that's here. And you ask a machine learning algorithm, which is unsupervised, to do, separate these balls. Through rules of thumb, what this machine learning algorithm is able to do is separate this into three different clusters. So it will group all the red balls together, it will group all the blue balls together, and it would group all the green balls together, right? So the point here being, it is doing this on rules of thumbs. It doesn't understand the difference between red, blue, and green, right? It's just doing it because there is a difference and it draws a line between that, right? So this is what we would classic call unsupervised learning, right? So that's the first kind of learning. This is used typically to uncover patterns. So you can throw enormous amounts of data at the algorithm and say, why don't you group different things that look similar together, different words that sound together similar, and so on and so forth, right? So this is used for clustering, dimensionality reduction, and so on. But this does not have any basic theory behind it. It is just done on the basis of some rules of thumbs. The second level, as you can imagine, is the exact opposite, is supervised. We actually tell the algorithm what the patterns are. So what you would do is you would give it a training data set, right? So you would say, every time you see something like this, it is a red ball. Every time you see something like this, it is a green ball. And every time you see something like this, it's a blue ball, right? So you train the algorithm to essentially learn these patterns, that if something occurs in a certain way, it is tagged as something, or it is identified as something. And then you can ask the algorithm to basically say, can you pull out all the red balls for me? Can you pull out all the green balls for me? Can you count the number of green balls in the set that we've shared, right? So this is what becomes supervised machine learning algorithms, right? So now if you think about it, you need to train the algorithm in certain patterns, right? And this is what adds, multifold power to it. You can teach the algorithm whatever you want to teach it, and it is then able to sort of find the same patterns in the data or in a new data set that you share. If you sort of grasp these two concepts, right, a lot of the machine learning issues become very, very apparent, right? So we will talk about biases a little bit. It is really because your training data set, the patterns that you've taught it are not all encompassing or are overrepresented on certain things, right? So that becomes very, very clear. The difference between generalized artificial machine learning and narrow artificial learning becomes clear because generalized can do anything, but narrow is actually trained on certain patterns, right? So these are two very foundational ways in which machine learning has been functioning for a very long time. The third one is what has been the game changer in the last decade or so, right? This is reinforcement learning. This is essentially not learning by patterns, it's learning by reward and by punishment, right? Or penalties. So almost like in real life, you would train a dog, to do certain things and give it a treat, or train a dog when it doesn't do the right things, you would punish it, is how this algorithm is essentially learning. By repeating different cycles of the same activity, it learns when it has done it right through a reward function, and it learns what not to do through a penalty function, right? So these are three broad approaches that are used in machine learning. If you sort of get a broad sense of these, a lot of the understanding of machine learning, its limitations, its biases, its challenges, all of those become very, very clear. So the big question is, where does large language model or chat GPT lie? The truth is it's across that entire spectrum, right? The way large language models or your chat GPTs of the world work is every time you ask it a question, the first thing it does is, through an unsupervised approach, starts to predict every single word that comes after one word in the sentence, right? It's literally creating the sentence word by word, right? So that's sort of a broad brush unsupervised approach, that it just creates sentences using different words and it guesses the next word every single time. Then it applies a second layer of supervised learning. So there's a lot of training data set that has gone behind the chat GPTs, the Claude AI and the Gemini AI and so on. This is where humans have actually curated test data sets which teach different patterns on how to answer, how not to answer, and so on. So a layer or a polish of supervised machine learning is applied, and then a final polish of reinforcement learning is applied to make sure to see if those of you who've used ChatGPT, there's a thumbs up and a thumbs down on your ChatGPT window. You're actually teaching the algorithm every time you give it a thumbs up that this is a good answer. You get a reward function. Every time you give it a thumbs down, it's learning that it was a bad answer. So it's learning what algorithms or what sort of weights in the background work for it and don't work for it, right? So that's about it. I'm going to stop geeking out a little bit now. That's sort of the science of what is artificial intelligence. I just want to conclude by saying artificial intelligence is not new, right? I mean, the foundations and early learning concepts were, sort of laid out as early as 1950. It started with Turing sort of coming up with the Turing test. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And then it has gone through different ebbs and flows, right? There have been very clear AI winters where we've hit frontier problems, where we've realized that there are bottlenecks and barriers that technology is yet to overcome. But where we are today is actually quite special, right? That, as I said, the change is not new. AI has been there for a very long time. But what's happening today is the speed and the scope of change is very, very different. What has happened is 4 different forces have come together to make Gen AI possible today, right? First is cheap hardware, right? The cost of devices, your mobile phones, cost of storage, not just your hard drives, but hard drives on which the big firms actually store their data. The processors that go behind all these compute capacity that we talk about have all plummeted over the years, right? So cheap hardware has made hardware accessible to both people as well as companies. The second thing that has happened, and in sort of sync with Moore's law, which is that, a very simplified version of Moore's law is, your processing capacity doubles every year in the same space of the chip that you have. This has also sort of held true, right, since the 1960s and so. So what has happened is it has become possible for us to run very, very complex algorithms on the processors that you have on your phones, you have on your laptops, and so on. So that processing power increase has also made Gen AI possible. The third thing is internet access, right? So, of course, to access Gen AI today, you need to have an internet connection. But what internet access has also done is it has created a complete deluge of data, right? So every time I move my cursor on a website, that gets recorded as data on the website, right? So every single action that we take on our computer screens, on our phone screens, or any connected device is being logged, is being sort of used as data to train algorithms and build algorithms. So internet access has more than just brought these algorithms to people, but it's also enabled us to capture data. And the fourth biggest advance has been algorithmic advances, right? So we started with unsupervised algorithms in the previous page. That was sort of the first step, right? Then algorithms got a bit more sophisticated. We went into the supervised world, and then we went into reinforcement learning, right? So these are also scientific mathematical advances in our ability to sort of do this through a computer code. And these advances have also sort of made it all possible. And what all of this has done, these fourth forces, is made contextual learning possible for us, right? So they've enabled us to learn from these large troves of data that are out there, process that really, really quickly, make sure that we can use internet to transmit those answers on the cheap devices that people are holding in their hands, right? So all of this has come together in a way to make that the revolution or the change that we see this time around. And that's why I start by saying this time is truly different when it comes to the revolution that we're seeing in Gen AI. Now, but let me sort of double down a little bit in terms of what is so different about it, right? The first thing is, if you think about machines, right, it was always thought that they were good at left brain functions, which is logic. I can ask a computer to say 1 is smaller than 2, or I can say 2 is smaller than 3. But what Gen AI has done is actually flipped it. It has made right brain function feasible, right? So right brain functions are writing, art, music. These things are now possible using AI. So it's a very big leap that AI has made, where our classic understanding that the left brain problems would be the first ones that would be solved by machines has actually been left behind. In fact, actually, Gen AI algorithms are pretty bad at left brain functions, right? You can give it 1 plus 2 and it can give you a wrong answer. It can say 3 or it could say 3 or a 5 or a 10 or whatever, right? So the point being, it's very good at right brain function, right? So writing, reviewing, analyzing. So that's a very big difference that we are seeing with what Gen AI has done. The second big difference, and it's quite monumental if you think about it, is two-way communication between machine and human has been made possible for the first time using human language. Until now, you needed to know a particular computer language to be able to communicate what you want to communicate to a machine. And even so, you had to have a lot of degrees, a lot of experience to be able to do that effectively and to do it well. But today, you, I, anyone can literally talk to a computer and get it to do things the way you want it, right? So it can write codes, it can write letters, it can write books, it can create art, it can create music. So that two-way communication is happening in a language that you and I speak, which is also a very big monumental shift from where we were a few years ago. And the last one is we've quietly surpassed the Turing test. When I was talking about the history of AI, I said it all started with Turing test, right? So again, a simplified understanding of Turing test is if I have an output, or let's say I have a piece of a paragraph, and if a human being is not able to tell whether this is human generated or machine generated, then we have passed the Turing test for machines. That is, machines are so good today that they're able to do something, and humans are not able to distinguish between whether it is human driven or machine driven. We've passed that point. We've passed that point where a lot of the content, in fact, that you're consuming today is AI generated, right? A lot of the content that you're seeing in terms of visuals is also AI generated, right? So that Turing test has been passed, which used to be one of the frontier problems for us in machine learning, has now been sort of surpassed. So these are three big reasons why the whole Gen AI generation is very, very different from the last time. But I mean, the big question is, okay, the theory is fine as to why it is different, but the question it begs is, what impact is it having on us, right? And I think it is impacting absolutely every strata of the society today, right? So I like to look at it in three sort of steps, right? The first step is the basic stuff, efficiency gains. It makes my life, my ability to do things much more faster. So now if I need to read a book, or I need to read a 1,000-page article, a 1,000-word article, I'm just going to give it to AI and say, can you give me a 100-word summary? It enables me to do this, much faster. Or if I have to sort of sort a bunch of documents in a particular order, it's able to do that much, much more faster than I would have done it myself. It's cheaper, right? I run an organization, I hire a lot of people, but now we are seeing a point where we're able to do a lot of replicable work through AI at much cheaper costs, right? And it's accessible, right? So if you have internet and you have a decent computer or a decent phone, it's very easily accessible in any corner of the world. So those are just a couple of things that you really need. So it has led to a lot of efficiency gains, number one. Efficiency is essentially doing it right, but effectiveness is about doing the right things. And AI has also helped with that, right? AI has made things more inclusive. It has made things more equitable. It has made things more trustworthy, right? So it's made us able to do things right. And then the final one is disruptions, right? If you think about AI, it is also changing business models. And disruption can be in a good or a bad way. It's changing what jobs mean to us. We'll dive into that in a second. But dare I even say it's also starting to transform human identity in a very, very big way. But let me just sort of get to that in a second now. The question is, should we worry about AI and what is it going to do to jobs and so on? The way I like to think about it, I know there are a lot of comparisons where people think of, when the computer was first announced in the 80s and 90s, people thought, this jobs are going to be lost. What we saw was jobs only increased. The same thing happened when internet came into place. People said jobs will be lost and jobs only increase, right? Every technological revolution that comes in has or sparks fears as fears of job loss, but truth is jobs only increase over time. But this time is truly different, right? And let me try to make my case. If you sort of dial back the clock to the pre-industrial era, right, when there were no machines per se, there was no printing press, no assembly lines, human labor was basically differentiated on muscle, right? People's ability to do physical activities. So if I could lift 10 kilos and somebody else could lift 100 kilos, they would be compensated more than I would be compensated, right? So the economic value was in physical strength, so to speak. What the printing press and subsequent mechanical inventions did was they completely censured the value of physical strength. Now it didn't matter if I could lift 10 or my friend could lift 100. If I knew how to operate a forklift with my thumb and my index finger, I would be able to earn just as much as my friend when he operated the same forklift with his thumb and his finger, right? So what machines did was reduce the value of that muscle, that physical strength, which was the driver of the economy, and turn that into technical strength, some sort of a knowledge, some sort of a mental strength, if you will, right? Since post-World War, this mental strength, sort of evolved into going from operating machines to sort of applying this in different professions, right? Whether it is software, whether it is consulting, whether it is finance. A lot of the economy today is where this mind vertical is, where people's knowledge ability is what is rewarded. Somebody who's able to do things more smartly, by and large, is able to make more money in this economy, right? But what AI does is it actually even censures the mind, right? By doing a lot of those knowledge functions, by automating a lot of those tasks, whether it is coding, right? Whether it is writing, whether it is arts, whether it is music, a lot of that knowledge function is now being taken care by machines. So it is reducing the value of knowledge work in the marketplace. So there is no doubt that it's going to disrupt the socio-economic order, right? How much, in what way, that is yet to be seen. But I think, it's not all a doomsday sort of scenario. There are certain things which limit AI today, right? I've just put 6 of these issues here, but there are many more problems, of course, right? Where AI needs to do a lot of things. The first is, of course, it doesn't have data for everything, right? It doesn't have very specific, very nuanced data on particular industries because that data is just not online, right? Or it does not have the ability to do things in all languages, right? So the results that it would give you in terms of interpreting a Marathi text or a Odia text is going to be much worse than, probably doing that in English. So those challenges remain, but these are tractable challenges, right? With more data coming in, these issues can potentially be resolved. The bigger frontier for AI or technology in general is it doesn't do physical tasks, right? So, or doesn't impact physical tasks as much. So unless there's a revolution in robotics, like there has been a revolution in AI, which is, by the way, on the precipice. There's quite a lot happening there. A chat for another day. But we're still not there. And once that revolution happens, of course, we need to worry. But until then, blue collar jobs are still fairly safe, right? So things that require intricate human intervention at a physical level will continue. There are also challenges with the model today, right? It hallucinates a lot. It is a master at coming up with random concoctions that just don't exist. I also said, it's very bad at mathematics and left brain functions, so can end up saying one greater than two instead of one lesser than two, and so on. A lot of hallucination happening, so that requires a human in the loop. But somewhat more importantly, it does not have the capacity to empathize, right? I have a typo there, my apologies. But essentially, it cannot emote. Yes, today, if you interact with AI, it can talk to you in certain ways where it seems like it's a real person talking to you. But the truth is, it does not really feel that empathy, right? It is merely mimicking those patterns from the large troves of data that it has and that it keeps learning from. But perhaps the most important thing, and this is what sort of separates us from going into this very dangerous space of, the thing that we're going into a cybernet sort of a thing, where machines are going to take over humanity, machines are going to make us slaves in the traditional sci-fi sense, is machines don't have a purpose. Machines do what people ask them to do, right? So they don't go on the quest to read a book on their own, right? They won't do it unless humans wanted to do it. So they lack a purpose right now. I'm sure some of you might have read reports about ChatGPT not letting turn off algorithms. I mean, turn itself off and so on. We can get to that, but by and large, the truth is, because machines till now don't have a purpose, they're not sentient and therefore are not the same as human beings, right? So there is that definite difference that's there. And in all of this, I think, the world sort of tends to swing between two kinds of people, right? The naysayers who think that it's a doomsday scenario, where everything is going to sort of be taken over by machines. And the other one on the other side is the cheerleaders who would say utopia is very right next to us, and that's going to happen. I think both of those scenarios are not possible until we have human in the loop, right? So until those responses, until that purpose doesn't get in there, and it's not there, there's a human involved in the loop every time, we are still sort of away from both of those extreme scenarios, right? Where technology solves for all problems in the world, or technology becomes the be all and end all, and humans sort of go down on that food chain, if you will. But that is not going to happen until humans are in the loop, right? So that's one quick message I wanted to leave you with. Now, I'll get to the more interesting and probably the more relevant and immediately useful bit is, how can AI help you? There's probably no way in the world that I can capture everything that AI can do for you. My only thing is, if you want to do something, ask AI to do it. Let's see if it can do it. More often than not, you'll be surprised the answer is yes. Right? So, but broadly speaking, I won't go into the examples right now. Pradyut will. So I'll leave it to him to sort of take us through real examples of how this actually pans out. But the three buckets in which you want to think about AI, right? Every time you find yourself struggling with a task where you're spending a lot of time, or you're having to sort of, do a repetitive task, it might be a case for Gen AI. So it is there to simplify your chores, to make sure you're spending time on things that really matter for you. So that's number one. The second thing is, it can also help you sort of feel better, right? To enrich your downtime, to make sure you're connected with people. And third is, it can also help you against the ills of AI, ills of technology, which is cybercrime, right? So let me sort of make this a bit more real and get into actual examples under each of these. So a few examples. I have more or less tried everything that I'm talking about today. So this is tried and tested. It's not fantasy or something. Simplifying your chores. It can draft your email. So if you were to just tell ChatGPT and the 15 other tools that are out there today that I'm trying to write an email for so-and-so purpose with such and such tone, it's able to write those emails for you. I use this very often when I'm feeling a bit lazy, a bit groggy. I'm just going to put that brain dump into ChatGPT and ask it to sort of refine it, make it sharper, make it more succinct, make it better for executive communication because I'm writing to somebody very senior, or I'm writing to my team and I'm not in a great mood. So make sure that I'm talking to them in the right tone. Whatever it is, it can also write legal documents for you, right? So if you have to write a letter to that, I don't know, a government officer for a leaking drain or something in your street, or you want to review a complex document that you have, whether it is a lease agreement or something, AI can help you. I have used AI to actually look through my lease agreement and flag out issues that I thought could be problematic or that I should negotiate with my landlord, right? Number two is it can help you set reminders, right? So for meetings, medicines, life events, right? So it's sort of an agent which is with you at all times, sort of working with you and helping you sort of remember things. But it can also summarize documents. I said, I have summarized books when I don't have time, but I want to really read them. I'm able to read a lot more now because I can summarize a lot of books very, very quickly and then be able to read them. It can convert voice notes into transcripts. I write a lot, so oftentimes I'm just recording myself on my way to a meeting, and then voila, I just ask AI to basically transcribe that, turn that into a nice email or turn that into a nice note, and I'm ready to go sort of after a quick read. It can also read text. So for those of you who don't like reading yourself and you're fans of podcasts and so on, it can actually read text for you in the voice of a person that you want it to be read in. But somewhat more importantly for lazy bums like me is it can help you control devices as well, right? So sitting where you are, you can actually unlock your door. Sitting where you are, you can turn off a light or turn on a light without having to argue with your spouse on who stands up and who goes and gets out of the bed and turns on that light or something, right? So I think there's a lot that it can do in terms of simplifying your chores today. The next thing is on supercharging your well-being. It can help monitor health records, right? So I do this often. I wear this ultra-human ring. It captures a lot of my, heart data, my sleep data, my walking patterns, and so on. I download that on an Excel sheet, throw it into ChatGPT, and say, "Tell me what am I doing right? Tell me what am I doing wrong? Are there things that I should be thinking about? How can I improve my health a little bit more?" So it gives me all these sorts of suggestions that I should keep walking every 60 minutes and so on, because I'm not doing that enough. There's a lot of sedentary time, etc., etc. So you can use this to monitor your health, to improve your health. I use it a lot to expand my medical knowledge. I got my annual blood work done in January this year. I threw in my LALPAT report with all the blood results into ChatGPT and said, "Hey, can you tell me what should I go and talk to my doctor about? And what are the doctors that I should see?" Right? So it can help you do that. It can also help you beat loneliness, right? So a lot of my friends used to use it typically to chat with folks to try and understand, at times when there's nobody who relates to you, AI might be the one who actually gives you a sympathetic ear and can help you sort of have a conversation. There's a lot happening today in terms of AI girlfriends and boyfriends. I'm not going into that, but we're entering a realm where AI, you can have a conversation, right? It can also help you sharpen your mind. This is something I tend to use myself, where I say, here are things that I'm worried about. I'm stuttering too much this week. Can you play some games with me to make sure I don't stutter so much? So, it gives me tongue twisters that I read it back on the phone, and then it's, sort of recording them and so on. It makes it fun. It gamifies it. There are different things that you can say, look, my math is getting weak. This has been my constant crib since I left my engineering school, is I'm not very good with numbers. If you ask me what is 27 plus 33, it takes me a second to think about it. Can you help me sharpen that, right? So AI can actually help you do all of that stuff. I use it also for fun stuff, for playlists, for itineraries, right? You can just say, "Hey, look, I'm driving down from Bhubaneswar to, I don't know, Chennai. Can you help me basically come up with a playlist for the topography that I'm going to be in? I'm probably going through some forest. I'll be going through the ocean way and so on. So therefore, NH5. So can you come up with some songs that might be fun?" And it does a pretty good job at all of that. The final thing is cybercrime. Before I shut up, and I've gone on for too long. But basically, it can also help you sort of look through fakes, right? You can spot scams. So the whole WhatsApp University thing, throw it into ChatGPT and ask it whether it is true or not. Grill it, ask it for actual sources online where you can find sources that will tell you whether it is true or not, right? You can scan your emails, you can sort of block suspicious apps, catch deep fakes, and so on. There's quite a lot. I let Pradyut sort of go into this. He has a fantastic presentation. So we'll get into the details of all of this. So it can also help you sort of shield you from the ills. AI is generating a lot. Deep fakes are an AI outcome, right? But in the same way, AI can also sort of help you tackle them to a good extent. I'm repeating this page again, and quite responsibly so. I've talked about many ways in which technology can help, actual use cases, but please, the one thing that I cannot overemphasize is there's always a human in the loop. That is to say, the answers that AI give you are not final, right? So always verify, always check, always reread. AI can make a lot of mistakes. AI is not the end all. Please, especially for more sensitive things in terms of, medical issues, in terms of, forming views on big political issues and so on and so forth. Please always make sure that you're verifying this in the good old-fashioned way of triangulating through multiple sources and not relying purely on AI. It is a master of hallucination. I use it on a daily basis, and I see that happen on a daily basis. The final thing that I'll end with is how can you help AI, right? So we talked about how AI can help, but there's a lot of help that AI can also use. First thing is widen data sets. I don't know if you remember when we talked about supervised machine learning, we talked about training data sets, teaching computer what the patterns are. This is what it is. You can help the computer learn different patterns, whether it is on languages, whether it is on topics that are not usually talked about. That is something that you can do. You can help. There are platforms out there where you can go and share your knowledge to make sure we're widening those data sets and that they don't remain narrow. Number two is oversee ethics, right? One thing I think when I talked about AI sort of reducing the knowledge curve or making knowledge as a skill less important is one thing it cannot do is it cannot replace wisdom. It cannot replace the innate human appeal for ethics, right? So it is extremely important for us to be able to make sure the AI tools have those ethical principles reflected, but also are implemented in an ethical way, right? So do keep the ethics lens on both ways in terms of training the algorithms on ethics, but also making sure AI is being used in an ethical, responsible way going forward. And then the final one is provide feedback, right? It's amazing how quickly companies are able to fix issues when they have good feedback. So never shy away from sort of providing that feedback to them. You can literally chat to ChatGPT and say, look, these are the things I don't like about you. And there's a way in which all of that will get aggregated eventually, and you'll start seeing those improvements, right? So always provide feedback to the tools that you're working on. I'll pause there. I turn it back to you, Sanjay, for any questions or however you'd like to proceed from here.
Yeah, thanks for that, Vivek. That was truly quite informative and a lot of learning for me as well. So we do have a few questions in the chat box. We have Mr. Sailesh Mishra from Silver Innings in Bombay, who's also doing some fabulous work in empowering seniors there. His question is specifically on summarizing a book, as you had touched upon as one of the use cases. And it's just, I think, asking for an illustration of how to do it in practice. And if you could just address that.
Sure. Happy to. So I hadn't planned for this, but let me give it a shot. So I apologize if this doesn't work, but I'm just going to play a little bit with ChatGPT here, if that's okay.
If that's okay. Meanwhile, can I just take half a minute to thank Sailesh Mishra ji for joining. He has been an inspiration and a mentor for all of us. He runs an organization called Silver Innings in Mumbai and in the neighborhoods of Mumbai. Sailesh ji has been there in Kaun Banega Crorepati, Satyameva Jayate, and he's what I want to grow up to be like. He's and he does amazing work. He runs a dementia home. Shailesh ji, can you come in for 2 minutes, please? I'm tempted to take you unawares, but Vivek, with your permission, can I just get Shailesh ji? It's such a privilege that he's there.
Absolutely, please.
Can you unmute him, please?
1 second.
Shailesh ji, thank you. You have to unmute,
Okay.
sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. I don't think so. We should give time to myself because it's a very important topic and it's very nice. We are talking about AI, and I think it's a new subject for all of us, especially for seniors. Thank you, Silver Age, for doing this. And I want to just give one point. Like of course, we talk about AI, but I think there's something called HI. I think that's also, I believe, HI is human intelligence. So human intelligence should be overpowering AI. AI should not empower um, uh, human intelligence. So human intelligence is very important. So when we talk about AI, so always remember it should not be like boss to humans. So it should be always servant to human being. So that's the thing. And thank you very much for arranging this. And it's my privilege and honor. And you all inspire me, and I'll keep on doing good work with all of your blessings. Thank you.
Over to Sanjay and Vivek, please, because there are multiple questions on how to upload in ChatGPT. I think it makes sense to.
Super. So I'll maybe just use one example. I'm sorry, I don't have an ebook downloaded on the laptop that I'm on right now, but the process is exactly the same. So I'm just going to, this is a standard ChatGPT window that you have. Let's say I'm going to put my AI for elders document into ChatGPT, right? So the presentation that I just used. So I've dragged and dropped it. You could also click this plus sign here and say add photos and files, and it would do exactly the same. You can go and sort of look at whatever document that you want to have and click open, and it would upload that. So here I put in a presentation. So I would basically say, can you please help me summarize this presentation in about 100 words, right? The more you talk to it, the better it is. So it'll be able to contextualize the answer for you better. So let us say I would like to have this summary in bullet points. So I don't want prose. So I'm asking it to do in bullet points. And then I'm going to say also pick up one of the most critical insights and highlight it for me, right? So you could basically, you can imagine you can write it the way you want to write it. And
can you magnify it? It's not visible.
Sure. This doesn't let me magnify. 1 second. I'll try to share this differently. Give me 1 second. Can you see it better now?
Yes.
Okay. So this is basically what I did. I added the file by adding, photos in file. You can sort of add whatever you want to add by clicking that. Then, I've given it a prompt. I've added some information. You can do the same for everything. So if you have your PDF document of your blood reports or whatever, you can just upload that and ask it the questions that you want to ask, and then just say, go, right? So now it's going to analyze that document. And since we've all sort of gone through that document, let's see how good or bad it does. It's going to read through it, try and come up with this. It also shares with you a little bit around what is it actually doing in terms of coming up with those insights. So here's the summary. It gives me around 4 or 5 bullet points. It talks about demystifying AI, much like what we talked about. The rapid ascent of AI, the 3 eras. The Gen AI being a step change, talks about that. The socioeconomic shakeup, the fact that jobs will endure, everyday gains for elders on how elders can basically automate chores, enrich well-being, or act as cyber shield, and the human role of continual ethical oversight. And here's a critical insight. It says AI has quietly crossed the threshold of two-way natural language interaction, turning computers from passive tools into active partners, opening unprecedented opportunities for older adults to stay productive, connected, and protected, right? So this is what it did, right? So very quickly took that document of whatever 20 slides, turned it into this quick summary of yours. You can do exactly the same with other things, but let me please emphasize, don't medicate, don't do things based on what it says. It also gets things wrong. At times it adds its own sort of understanding into it. So do always, consult the right expert or use the standard way of triangulating something before accepting the answer right away. Sanjay, over to you.
Yeah. All right. So you have touched upon some of the points that are in some of the other questions as well. The people asking about uploading health reports, and I think you've spoken about responsible use of AI and the risks that you run by subscribing to its responses. Also, we have a question from Dr. Reena Tripathi who says, don't you think we are sort of weakening our thinking process or, reducing brain use, let's say, by due to the easy accessibility to such processing power?
No, I couldn't agree more with you, Dr. Reena. I mean, I think, although mind is not a muscle, brain is not a muscle, but it almost works like a muscle, right? You don't, use it or you lose it, kind of an thing there. So it's very important to keep it active. I think you're absolutely right in that over-reliance on technology or generative AI is going to have an impact. In fact, there are some early studies. Gen AI hasn't been around for too long, but even in the short-term studies that they've seen in the last 18 months or so, they're starting to see cognitive decline on certain functions, right? And this is not new, right? So when I was younger, I used to remember at least 10 phone numbers, right? My younger brother is much sharper. He would remember 50 phone numbers, uncle, aunts, and brothers and sisters, and everyone. Today, of course, I don't remember any phone numbers. The same can be said about travel directions, right? People would remember exactly which overbridge to take and so on. Today, everyone sort of relies on Google Maps to do that. So you're absolutely right. Technology is going to make certain parts of our brain weaker. And I think at a bare minimum, it is important to institute certain level of guardrails, right? So when I look at my nieces and nephews, I want to make sure that they're not using this on a daily basis and not developing the necessary mental cognitive capacity that they need to function in the world, right? So that's one part of it. But once you've sort of hit that point, maybe there is a way that you can do it, a maintenance, and probably use AI to actually keep yourself active and sharp, right? So ask it to design games. So, I mean, literally what we could do is we could say, we could tell ChatGPT, hey, look, I use you quite often. I'm probably losing certain mental faculties. Can you help me design some games to keep myself active, right? This is literally a prompt that you could throw into ChatGPT and see what it throws out, right? So there are ways in which you could use it to actually turn it around as well. But I think it's very important, you're absolutely right, to be mindful of the fact that it can have, and it will have, if you ask me, an impact on our mental faculties. And that's something we should guard against.
So just a couple of other questions. One important issue, I think, is about preventing the misuse of AI. And can you touch upon sharing of sensitive or personal information on engines such as ChatGPT and what the repercussions of that are, and the security risks?
So I'm a very big tech cheerleader, if that was not already apparent in the talk. But that said, I would always say, do not share information, private information as far as possible, because no matter what, that data, once it goes up, gets uploaded, it is potentially being used or it is potentially being seen. There is a potential for harm, right? So if you think it is extremely sensitive, better not to upload it, is the sort of rule of thumb that I tend to follow. But there are things that you can do to make your lives a little better. I'll just do it on ChatGPT very quickly to show you all a couple of examples of what you could do. But truth is, you can sort of do this elsewhere as well. So if you can see my screen right now, I'm going to try and remember. Yeah, okay. So here, if you actually click on the user that you are, if you click on that top right thing, where your username or your user face shows up, you can go into customize chat GPT. No, sorry, one second. I think it's settings. You go into settings and you can actually say things to it, right? So on personalization, you can say, should it have a memory, right? You can actually tell it something about yourself. Should it reference past chat history? You can turn these out. You can also have data controls, right? And there's something on security here. No, one of these should have something around it not storing your data, right? So that's another option that you could explore. Is you can ask it not to store your data. I'm not able to find it here right now, but somewhere in this window you'll find that. The last thing I would say for somewhat semi-private things, the best thing to do is there's a function here in ChatGPT which allows you not to store data. So I'll show you what it is. So if you can see my screen, do you see this small chat bubble on the top? This is a temporary chat, right? So if you click that temporary chat, this is what happens. This chat will not appear in your history, be used to update ChatGPT's memory or even to train their models, right? If you don't have this on, every conversation is getting trained, right? But if you have this on for a particular conversation, it is not stored anywhere. They hold a 30-day temporary copy, but after that it's deleted, right? So, and that 30-day temporary copy is for safety reasons, right? People could ask some really weird criminal questions and so on. So that can potentially be used in a court of law. So that is the only reason it is stored. But otherwise, that data is not stored. So if it is even semi-private, I would say go into this, use it as a temporary chat. So you're not giving out data, not storing data that you don't want them to be storing.
Yeah, so I have one last question for this session. This is from Narendra ji from the National Office of ARDSI, which is the Alzheimer's and Related Disorder Society of India. Silver Age Foundation incidentally has an MOU with them. We manage the Bhubaneswar chapter of ARDSI. Narendra ji asks, what are the risks of AI in case of more red-blue content in both the supervised and unsupervised areas as described by you?
I'm not sure I fully understand, but if is the reference to the page on supervised learning and unsupervised learning?
Uh, I assume so. Narendra ji, are you? Give me a second.
Narendra ji, please go ahead and ask the question.
Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah,
And please be quick.
yeah. Thanks, Vivek ji. Thanks, Amarji. My question was like, see, because as I understand from your narration, all these content they are categorized as green, blue, and red. So green means that is a good content, maybe which is curated and given as solutions for us. If only blue and red contents are given more, and if that is the point of curation, will there be accumulation of wrong information? So that is the thing which I was asking you.
Got it. No, you're absolutely right, Narendraji. There is this notion in data science, which is garbage in, garbage out, right? So if you feed garbage to the algorithm, it will give garbage as a result, right? So it's very, very important to make sure that the training data set that's going into these models is representative, and it can have catastrophic impacts, right? I can give you an example. This is slightly dated, but there were a couple of problems, right? What was happening was you would see a lot of criminal databases are trained mostly on blacks, because that was, the inherent bias in the American sort of judicial, Well, that was the overrepresented sample in American jails. So what happened was it would typically find anybody who's black as a potential suspect and leave all the whites out as potential suspect, right? The same thing happened in terms of how men and women think, right? When a lot of the algorithms were being designed by men, they were thinking in way, or the data was very man-driven. It was thinking about it from a men perspective, but not missing out on the women perspective, right? So it's absolutely important to make sure that the data that goes in, the training data that goes in, right, red, blue, green, whatever that is has to sort of be representative of the whole picture. And I think the thing is, the truth is, there's no suspense here. We will keep making mistakes, right? So, and some of these will be very painful, will have impacts, but I think the way forward is essentially for us to keep looking at potential biases, making sure our data gets richer and richer, and then we are able to sort of solve for this. I started out by saying something in data science, which is garbage in, garbage out. The other antidote to that is the answer to bad data is more data, right? So of course, it's a bit controversial, but the idea is we need to make sure we're able to put more data out there so those biases can be addressed. But a very important question. The biases in our training data sets will reflect in our answers.
Thanks. I think we need to move on, Sanjay. And with Sanjay, with your permission, we are also extremely delighted and grateful that Dr. Radhamurthy, founder of the co-founder of the Nightingales Medical Trust, is with us. Ma'am, thank you so much for joining. You've been inspiration, and Shailesh ji and Dr. Radhamurthy are two people who have always inspired me. In fact, we started this whole idea by accidentally going into one of her centers in Bangalore. There are so many things that can be said about her. Let me just say that she runs a 150-bed dementia home, which is absolutely unimaginable and probably unparalleled in the Asian context. Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Please, we'll have 2 minutes of your. Because the reason I'm saying this is not because of how grateful we are, because I think there is such a nice congregation and people should listen to you, ma'am. Ma'am, mute, ma'am. Ma'am, you're muted. Ma'am, you're muted, ma'am.
Can you hear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. I mean, you said more than what I was doing. Um, I'm really what you call thank all of you for organizing this. Especially, I gained a lot of input because this is a new subject, and I'm sure I was just wondering how we could utilize this particular platform. How do we use it in our day-to-day in our healthcare? So this was my thing. Thank you so much, Vivek, for giving such a brilliant input. And what can I say? It was a really, really useful one. For the elders, I do not know how it was, but I think in general, I really gained a lot of this. So thank you so much for this. And I think you all should do it more and more of these programs.
Thanks, ma'am. The second part promises to be more interesting because Pradyut is presenting real examples of and on live examples of how people can benefit from this. Over to Sanjay and then Pradyut. Over to Sanjay. Sorry, Sanjay, I keep coming in the middle.
Yeah, no, Pradyut, I think we just start with your session. People would be eagerly waiting to hear about the use cases. So over to you.
Yes, thanks, Sanjay. Good evening, all. Basically, Vivek has discussed mostly on the theoretical part, how AI has evolved and how artificial intelligence has come as a assistance to many across the type of work that we do, across the type of help we need. So my presentation would be more on the practical aspect of this. So I'm sharing my screen. To sum up the things I have to give demonstration so that you all can understand, and some questions I was going through it, maybe you will get answer to it. So I start my presentation here. I hope my screen is visible. So I'll be moving from the screen to some web like that. So that will be such. So this is AI for seniors, and I will skip these slides which are not already discussed by Vivek. So the main agenda is to tell you about what is an AI assistant and what is how AI powered wearables can help you, and what is a security and alarm system that can be nowadays AI based cameras has been coming, and how this can be used for security and safety. Then a little bit awareness on deepfake, because a lot of news are coming and lot of cyber crimes are being done, and they are calling as this is cyber arrest. Then fact check, how you can check whether this information that you got from someone is correct or not, how you cross check that. And finally, because you all are very knowledgeous people and you have a lot of knowledge, I was going through and somebody has written that he has written a lot of artifact and document, how you can contribute to this AI mission of India that we are doing. So this is a brief of the agenda. Now, in simple word, already discussed, this AI means a teaching a machine to think and act smart, just like humans. Like you have hired a cook in your kitchen and you want him to work for you. Either you can cook yourself, or if you are not able to do that, you can ask him. So in AI assistant, there are 3 or 4 major product that is available. One is ChatGPT, we discuss a lot. Similar is their Gemini, Cloud, and Grok. These are the different companies. They are coming out with AI assistants. And if you remember, Google Assistant is already there, and Siri is already there in iPhone. So those are all also AI assistants. So AI is not recently coming after ChatGPT, but the perception has changed. The way we talk to the assistants has changed. So ChatGPT is best used for creative tasks and explanations. If you want to do some creative, you want to generate some images and you want to do some task in terms of content writing like that, it is best. Gemini is great for research and planning. So if you want to do some research on, because it collects a lot of data from, because Google is behind it, and it has a lot of content there. So you can do a lot of research on it. Claude is excellent for detailed and careful responses. It has backed with a lot of documents already trained to this the AI assistant. And Grok is from X company, and if you want to do some kind of research on social media, so trend analysis, those things can be done. So based on your requirement, you can choose one of them. And let me tell you, all are free. At least the base persons are free to use. You can use it in web, like in website, you open a website, or you can download it in your phone. There are app available both for Android and Apple, and you can use it. And why you need AI assistant? Basically, these are the things that is used by AI. Vivek already explained in detail, but 4 points: available 24/7 for any questions you ask. Patience, and never judge your questions. It will never come back to you why you are asking these questions. He will just listen, patient. You ask 100 questions, it will keep on answering you. Then explain things multiple ways until you understand. If you want that a question you ask and it is not able to answer you properly, you can again ask that question and tell him to either elaborate or tell him to truncate it or shorten it, this entire thing. And also it help with the daily task and decisions. So suppose you are doing some daily task and you want to take some decision on that, so it can help you. What makes them different from Google search? Google search is plain, they have these AI assistants have conversation. So they don't just answer you, but they start talking to you, converse with you. They explain things in your preferred style. If you say simple, it will write you in simple way. If you tell him to explain it in detail, it will explain in detail. They remember the context also. Context means the way you have asked questions, next questions, it is related to the original questions. Suppose I ask ChatGPT that I want some kind of things I want to do with uh, certain items. So next, it can ask, it will ask you which are items you want to. You can then upload an image, or it can do that, and it keep on talking to you. So if you don't like that answer, also you can tell him that, can you change this? Can you add more to it? Suppose you create an image and you want a flower to be added to that image. So next, it will take the same image and put a flower to it. They can help create and not just find information. They create the things. It is not that copy paste and it is showing. So there are four, I had told four products, but I'll be focusing on ChatGPT because this is mostly used. And I saw that many of you are also using ChatGPT. So GPT means generative pre-trained transformer. They are already pre-trained with a lot of data and lot of documents has been read through, and lot of images, videos, and whichever are publicly available, they have gone through it and they have trained themselves to answer your questions. So how you use that? You have to go to chat.openai.com. OpenAI is the company who has developed this ChatGPT. Then you have to create an account with your email. You should have an email. Otherwise, you can also, for simple questions, not more than 10 questions, you can use without accounts also, email also. But it is always good to have your email. Then start with simple questions. And you can also download ChatGPT app from App Store, any App Store like Android or Apple. And it is like a smart assistant. As I said, it is a smart cook, and it can talk in English. Like it's like not a technical thing. You ask the questions in plain English, it will answer you in plain English also. So this is how you do that. If you have an Android phone, I'm just showing it. Like you go to the Play Store, you search for ChatGPT, and it will come. This is the logo. You can see the logo, ChatGPT logo it is, and you install it, and you start directly open. So when you open that app, it will come like this, and there is a text box where you can write. So then it will ask, what can I help with? There are certain ideas. Suppose you want to make a plan, you want to analyze some data, you want to summarize text, or you want to get some advice. These are predefined questions. Or you can directly click ask anything you can see in the bottom, and then you start writing. Then you suppose you write, which are the closest orthopedic clinics near my home in Patia? All clinics should be in 2-kilometer range. So it will know that where you are located, Patia. It can identify Patia as a location in Bhubaneswar, and it will give you all the list of orthopedic clinics that is available, publicly available. It will not generate anything of its own. It will search all the public things and whichever it has trained with, and give you this list of like this. So it is as simple as asking questions. And the good part is you do not have to write it much also. You can see a symbol here, a mic symbol. You click on mic symbol, then it will start recording your voice. If you ask me in English, the same thing, it will automatically record. You don't have to type much, and it will convert it to text, and then it will tell you the answer. Now, some guidance I should tell you, because this is first time, many of you will be using first time. Start with simple questions like health questions. Explain my blood pressure reading in simple terms. So if you have blood pressure details, you tell him and it will read and it will tell you in simple terms what is blood pressure, high blood pressure, low blood pressure, like that. Help me write a complaint letter to my insurance company. Simple question. So then it will ask you questions also. What kind of event has happened for which you are asking for a letter writing? Give me a heart healthy recipe for 2 people, and teach me about my grandson's favorite video game. So these are simple questions normally people ask. But as I say, if you have a cook in your house and you ask him, prepare a meal for me. So if you just tell these things, he will not understand anything. What kind of, do you want veg or do you want non-veg? Do you want light oil or do you want spicy things? If you don't tell that cook, he'll prepare anything and it will serve you anything. So that you will not like also. So there are pro tips which help you. So this I will take 2 minutes time, because when you start using, you will get irritated if you ask simple question, it will not give you answer. So if you ask the right question, it will answer you properly. First thing is task. You must write what task you want to do this AI assistant do for you. Then give a context. On what context you are asking these questions. Then give some references that will help the assistants. Then evaluate that. What answer it is giving, you evaluate whether this is correct or not correct. Then iterate. Iterate means in one single questions, you may not get the right answer. So you need to iterate, you need to ask more questions. You have to ask him to correct something and recreate it like that. So with the same context of a cook, you just ask him to cook a meal. Then you give a context. Some family members are coming from outside. They are vegetarian. They are from South India. They like spicy food. This is context you are giving. Then references. You can tell some references. You cook the way on the last Tuesday you had cooked, very spicy, and it was very good. You like that only you can cook. You are giving a references. Or you can say उस दिन हम उधर घर में गए थे, उधर खाए थे, उस टाइप का कुछ बनाओ. Then you evaluate. He will tell you, here this difference between human and AI. Here after cook you taste. Then you say that no, ये थोड़ा कम spicy हो गया. Then you go back and you do something. That is iterate. So when you give the task in a proper way, you will get the response or the output in a proper way. So these things you should remember. TCRET, that is task, context, reference, and evaluate and iterate. This will not be done in one day. You will not get into it. But just keep it in mind that don't just ask मेरे लिए कुछ बना दो. So now some tips I already, so I can skip it, but some of them be specific. Use voice input rather instead of typing. Ask follow-up questions. Say explain simply if you want this answer to be simply. Give context, save good responses, you can save it, and be curious. Ask ChatGPT to act like a friend, a doctor, teacher, and entertainer. So that will help you to engage with ChatGPT more. Some fun things that we can do with ChatGPT, like write poems or songs, ask for jokes, play trivia games, travel ideas, fun facts, make lists, schedules, imagine a movie sequel. These are some of the things that came to my mind to kill my time or loneliness. Don't bother much about grammar and spelling. Even if you do some mistake, it is intelligent enough to know that you are writing what you are writing. So don't bother, then it has to be properly grammatically correct, spelling should be right. No, don't do that. You just write what you are writing. That's why I said you use your mic and tell. So I will go with some example with ChatGPT. So I create a new chart. So suppose, let's say I take an example. Let's say my granddaughter is turning 13 next month. You can see some of spelling mistakes are there. I'm not bothered. Make a birthday poem for me. And if you say, can you make? He will be more happy. But I'm saying that. So you see, I just said that, of course, here is a heartfelt, joyful birthday poem for your granddaughter's 13th birthday. To my granddaughter on 13th birthday, a little star just now shining bright. You have reached your teens. Oh, what a sight. From tiny toes to dreams so wide, you have grown with grace, love inside. So this is how it gives. It is too lengthy. And I'll say,
Pradyut, you can also show that ask for a shorter poem. Her
yeah,
favorite,
can you
her
make it
favorite, her
shorter?
favorite is flowers. बेटी के देखिए.
So it's shortened. So little one, 2 para, 8 lines. That's great. Can you make a birthday card for me? So you can see it is processing an image. I'm using a free version, so it will take some time to prepare, but it will create a very beautiful flower. But I have not told this ChatGPT what I need in that card. So it can create anything. I have to wait to see that. So it will generate an image. I will just show. I was doing some research. So it will generate.
You can also show about
Like
uploading.
yes, you can see this is how this is done, and you can download it. When you download, you can see this is, and you just copy it and you send to your granddaughter. This is one you can do. Now, one example, another example. Let's say we all discussing about. I will come to that later because that is serious issue. Let's say you have gone to a place and you really do not know what are the different items you have. You take a picture and you upload this picture, identify the items in the picture. I just took a picture right now from my desk, and it said the image shows 3 items placed on a light colored table. It also understands the color of the table. Left, a wireless computer mouse. This is the wireless computer mouse. Can you see that? Center a Samsung TV remote. It doesn't even say that it is a Samsung TV. It reads Samsung is here. Even you cannot read, but it can read. Then write a Samsung air conditioner remote control. This is a Samsung air conditioner remote. It is, you can see this is Samsung. So it reads this Samsung. Now I can ask my remote control not working. Can you help? It asks, there are 2 remote controls. Which remote control not working? I didn't give the context, so I said AC remote. Now it gives a step-by-step troubleshooting of Samsung AC remote, and it understands which are the buttons are there, and then it gives. You have to follow step by step, and it will tell you to. But for simple thing you can do, like check your battery if it is not working or the light is turning on or off or it's not on. So this is how you can use agent assistant where you cannot actually do that thing. One more, let's do. I'll create a new chart. Let's play. I'm feeling bore, can we play a trivia game? Is the screen is visible to all, or should I increase the font size?
More or less visible.
Okay. So I I'll ask you a question. You try to answer it. I'll tell you if you got right. So let's have some fun. Movies. Bollywood movies. I say I want to play Bollywood movies. I'll start from number 1. Which Bollywood movie holds the record for the highest grossing Indian film worldwide as of 2025? RRR? So it's search. It asks question, great guess, but not quite. Correct answer is Dangal. Dangal is the highest. So you also get some general knowledge also. The next question, which Bollywood movie won the Academy Award for the best original? So it is too difficult. So can you ask simple questions? Too difficult. Simple question it will ask. Who is known as King of Bollywood? Salman Khan, Shah Rukh Khan, Amir Khan, or Amitabh Bachchan? Any guess? But Shah Rukh Khan is the king of Bollywood. So this is how you can engage yourself with ChatGPT and then play with some kind of games, and then you can do. Last one, I would like to show you. I don't know whether this will. So I will show you because maybe I'm using free. So I did a lot of research for this presentation. So this is one interesting I would like to say. I have seen Sole movie and I ask ChatGPT, suggest a script for the sequel of this movie. If there is a sequel of Sole movie, you see Sole movie sequel, it will create. Sole Legacy of Fire, the name is there, contemporary rural India. This is core concept. This is main characters. It's created also. Aryan as Jayashan, Kabir as Virusan, Meera as Basanti daughter, Shamsher Singh, Thakur granddaughter, like that. And reopening. So these are the 50 years of independence from Gabbar's terror. Aryan and Kabir meet again even after years. And this is how you can do. So you can see that it reads lot of movies also. It watches, ChatGPT also watches a lot of Hindi movies also, and it can tell you a sequel of that thing. And ending scene is this, some music you can use. Then it will ask, do you really want to a screenplay draft or teaser poster? And I asked him to give a teaser poster. So this is what it gives me. I ask him, you can see, make a teaser poster, and it creates a teaser poster with 4 characters. And I do not know who is this, Gabbar son maybe. So this is how this ChatGPT, you can use lot of use cases are there. You can use lot of things with it. One last, I would like to say on the, what I did, and I got some blood test. This image I upload, this blood test, but you can see that I remove my the name of the patient and everything, because this is confidential and personal information I should not share with ChatGPT. I just truncate and put this information. And you can see many doctors are here, so they can understand what is this all about. And then I ask him, please read, simple question, please read the lab test report and summarize the report. And it started summarizing this. These are the things you can see. And it was very, very slight abnormality in wear. And then conclusion is CVC report is largely within normal limits and MPB is somewhere you have to be careful. No sign of infection, anemia or blood cell order. This test was ordered due to specific symptoms or condition. It's the best to correlate clinical findings. Let me know if you would like to interpretation of the simple term. So I ask, please explain in simple term. It tells me simple. What is white blood cells? What is red? No numbers or nothing number games. And finally say, one small thing to note, this is MPB is a bit high and which can happen naturally, and it is usually a problem if everything else looks good, which it does. Final summary, overall it gives you. You will get a simple, but you will see that if you had this test due to symptoms like fatigue or infection, talk to your doctor for the full picture. So it advises you to talk to a doctor.
See, sorry, brother, what we strictly would request you to take note of is, next, don't ask Chat GPT that what medicine should I take for this.
Yes.
Please do not do that.
Never
Or
do that
if you
because
do
will be
it for
dangerous.
fun.
So I'll continue my presentation from here. So I hope this was fun with all of you because already you have spent 1.5 hours. Patience is what? So AI for health, I will quickly go. There are wearable devices like this, which can analyze, which can do lot of health tracking, reminders, and how to do. Apple Watch and Fitbit are some of them. Wearable devices can help you. So track your heart rate, heart monitoring, irregular rhythm alerts, medication reminder, emergency SOS, step counting, and sleep tracking also you can do that. One more example I would like to give. The smart app can also keep some of the instruction from you, like remind me to take my blood pressure medicine every day at 9 a.m. So every day 9 a.m. it will remind you through some kind of alarm, through some kind of vibration, so that you see your watch and you take medicine regularly. This is next level is telemedicine. Telemedicine, again, disclaimer, telemedicine bots should not be taken as a final prescription. Doctor's advice must be taken. I'm just telling you what AI can do. So don't take telemedicine as your final thing. Always talk to your doctor. You can have video calls with your doctor from home. AI-powered chatbot often guide you through a series of questions. Are you feeling chest pain, like that? And these tools ask you simple yes, no questions about your symptoms. Based on your answers, they can provide likely explanation or advise you when to see a doctor. It will advise. And always in the last sentence, always these telemedicine chatbots are, do not take any kind of medicine prescription from this, consult your doctor. But you actually can know whether you are having some problem, serious problem, or it can say, but it can misguide you also. So be very careful. So you can see these are the questions it is asking. It is asking where you born, are you male or female, what symptoms bothering you, sore throat is there. Then it will ask you a autofill. So you can select one of them. And then whether it's a mild or moderate, since when you are having like 1 month or 1 day or 1 hour, then it will ask you some symptoms. I am done adding symptoms. Any fever today, because sore throat is there, it is asking automatically fever is there or not. it is asking questions. So this is just, I just test it and record it so that I need not type so much thing. So you can quickly, we can see what is happening here. And whenever you are unsure, just write unsure.
Pradyut, Dr. Reena Tripathi has advised on the chat box that you see, not always is telemedicine linked to a in SCB Cuttack, telemedicine is actually answered by a physical doctor.
Yes. So I'm just telling how AI is being used in different areas. So this is one of them. So I just quickly go there, and it gives some of the information recommendation it can say, but again, it itself says that you do not take it final thing. You can see it is written. Before you take a look, remember your results aren't meant to substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. So it is just, you may be having, so you can connect to a right doctor like that. Now, security. So you can see visitors without going to a door. AI-based cameras are there. You can identify unknown person. You can have a two-way communication. You can have motion alerts sent to your phone. You can distinguish between people and pets. There is a night vision also available, and you can have family access. Children can help monitor. So you can access because it is all connected devices. So this can be. So a small video for you. Let's watch it.
Let's talk about home security from Google, the easy way to keep your home safe and check on it from anywhere. This is Nest Doorbell, an intelligent battery-powered doorbell with a built-in camera. This is the battery-powered Nest Cam. It runs on a rechargeable battery and can be placed anywhere around your home. And this is the wired Nest Cam, Google's most affordable indoor camera. Together, these intelligent cameras can help you keep an eye on your home, whether you're at home with your Nest display or from anywhere with your phone. It's like having your own private security. Just set them up and stream live footage of your home anytime with the Google Home app. Okay, so Nest Doorbell can check in on your front door. It comes in 4 different colors and knows the difference between people, animals, packages, or vehicles. It even sends you intelligent alerts, like if a package arrives. And the Nest Cams can help you look after the rest of your home. Just like Nest Doorbell, they have built-in intelligence and can alert you if they spot a person, animal, or vehicle. You can even tap to say, Brando, bad dog. Yep, the cameras and doorbell all have a built-in mic and speaker, so you can listen in and talk back right from your phone. And if you want to fend off unexpected visitors, there's the Nest Cam with floodlight, which automatically shines a light on suspicious activity. It'll also record and let you rewatch clips of important events from up to the past 3 hours. But if you want to go further back in time, sign up for Nest Aware in the Google Store. Starting at $6 a month, you'll get 30 days of event playback from your Nest Cams, doorbell, and displays, so you can rewatch moments like this. Wow, that's one giant leap for baby kind. Okay, so what if you're busy in the kitchen but want to know what's happening around the house? Well, you can tune into your Nest Cams or doorbell from your Nest Up Next. Hey Google, show me the living room camera. Looks like someone's ready for their walk. Brittany is at the front door. Oh, hey, Brittany. Perfect timing. Yep, your doorbell and cams can recognize familiar faces, like your dog walker. So your security will know who's a regular and who's not on the list. So yeah, keep your home safe and check on it from anywhere. That's home security with smarts from Google.
So this is not to advertise any product here, but this is one of the product that is available, which can be installed. And AI can do a lot of things similar. It can identify your who are your known person, who are not your known person. It has its own intelligence to know whether it's a pet or a human being, or a box is kept outside your door, and it can alert you also if anything happening outside your home. So this is about home security. But personal security is one, which is nowadays you are seeing a lot of deepfake videos are coming. Deepfake videos are basically fake videos which looks like a real video. So that is called deep fake videos. It is developed using AI. So this is a negative part of AI we were discussing earlier. So let's look at it, an example.
Can be done in a way that none of those failures of the past would recur because just the physics of how it's built. This is
the original video, Bill Gates. This video is used, only this clip was used, and a deep fake video is created. You can see that.
Deep fake example of what is possible with powerful computer and editing. It took around 72 hours to create this example from scratch using extremely powerful GPU. It could improve with more computing time, but 90% people cannot tell the difference.
So hope all of you can identify the difference because it is clearly written which is original and which is deepfake. So if you look closer to these videos and in detail, so you'll see some visual clues can help you, like unnatural blinking patterns. In the deepfake video, his eyelid was blinking quite unnaturally. Blurry edges around the face. You can see when he was moving his face, there was blurs. Then skin tone also that doesn't match. Sometimes it's very white and sometimes it never happens with the real. Lip was not matching, lips was not matching, lip sync was not correct. But nowadays, lot of things has come with matches the lips also. But you have to be very careful to see where it is not matching. And strange lightning on the face because these videos are created by taking pictures and pictures and pictures. So somewhere this lightning is not done properly. Lighting is not done properly. In audio, voice sounds robotic and unnatural. Sometimes the voices are like robots saying. Breathing pattern seems odd. So you'll see that there is no breathing. So continuously someone is speaking and background noise suddenly changes. So in some split of the second, you will see that the background sound is completely different. So this is some of the defect clues that you can see and take care. But don't react immediately to shocking content. Use fact checking tools. Ask your family and trusted sources, and then share suspicious content with authorities immediately. Because if you take a step, maybe someone else will be, you can save someone else to become a victim of this defect thing. So if it looks too strange or shocking, don't believe it right away. This is what I can tell everyone. So when it should look strange, then don't believe immediately. Check fact. So how you can do fact checking? The Press Information Bureau has fact check, which is government of India. So they put lot of content which are fact check because recently you have seen Pahalgam case attack. Lot of videos and old videos and images were coming. And people were thinking that someone hit so many soldiers killed, Indian soldier killed, and some pictures were there. Both ways there were pictures were coming and videos were. So you can always go pib.gov.in. This is a site where you can do fact check. You can send, suppose you got a video or image, you can always send to this number, WhatsApp number, and it can tell you whether this is a real or fact. And suspicious messages here for official verification in PIB. Google also has a fact check. So when you want to do Google.com, there you write your question and then you add fact check. And it will tell you, it will search only based on that questions, any fact check has been done or not. And there will be a labels will be there in the result. So you can know it's a fact check. Also, cross verification techniques are there. Always check another 2 or 3 reliable sources before you take anything seriously or taken for granted. And look for original sources where it has generated. And then check publication dates, which is very, very important. So you should any news that you see without a publication date, don't believe it. There has to be a publication date and time. Any newspaper or any such website are there, so they always put the publication date. It could be a very dated news, so you might be getting a very dated news and you think that this is current date information. So check that publication date. These are the few things that you can always check when you get a lot of like WhatsApp images like that. On the safety side, we already discussed. And again, I'm repeating those. Never share personal financial information with AI. Never ever share. Be cautious about sharing medical details with unknown AI services. If you don't trust that AI service, don't share anything. Anonymous, you can share. If you want to just test it, you can share. But don't share with where it can be identified the patient name. Use official verified AI platforms only. Keep your account secured with strong password. All your websites or anywhere you have logged in, you should keep your accounts secured and change password regularly. Then information verification, verify important health advice with your doctor. Cross-check financial advice with certified professional. Don't ask ChatGPT whether I should invest in this particular investment or not. So never ask that question. So if you want to compare, you may compare, but don't ask whether I should do that or not. And always go for a financial advice from certified professionals. Fact-checking tools we just learned. And then when in doubt, ask family or trusted friends. You should ask, suppose many times you get a WhatsApp message that I am this, I'm your old friend, I need money urgently. Please send money. It's, you know that your friend is well off. He need not. So first call him and check, or you ask any one of your friends or your group whether you have got similar message or not. This could be a fake news or trap. These are the emergency contact. This this PPT will be shared with you all, I think. So you will get these numbers definitely. So these are the PIB WhatsApp number, senior citizen helpline number, and cyber crime 1930. Last section. I have very little time, so I have to be quick. Yes, sir. Amarjyoti sir. This is one area I personally really want to ask everyone's attention, because I can see you all are learned people. Your contribution to the society is very, very crucial. The knowledge that you have in your mind can be shared with others. And this can help our India AI mission to have a better and more secured and reliable information available. So Bhasini is one platform where we are working, Government of India is working under MeitY, trying to break the barrier of language in multiple. So here what happens that these are all developed by trained AI LLMs, but it needs data. Our India, lot of languages are there, lot of dialects are also there. So this initiative like Bhasa Dan, where you can actually contributing to the Bhasini through Bolo India, Suno India, Likho India, and Dikho India. These 4 areas where you can actually contribute. So this site is called bhasini.gov.in, and there is a section called Bhasadan. So you will see 4. So this is I used to contribute because I'm Odia. So I used mostly in Odia language. I contribute. So there are 4 sections. Dekho. Dekho means here you will, first is Bolo India, means it will come out with a text. You can read it and you start recording your voice. Then you contribute that ये जो हिंदी में लिखा हुआ है, आप इसको हिंदी में ही ट्रांसलेट करके स्पीक करके देन यू अपलोड. Then Suno India, you listen to something and then you start typing in your language. Like suppose a voiceover is there, so you listen to that and you can type it in your own language. Then Likho India, you see in English text, you translate it into Odia. That helps the Vasini to translation services. And finally, Dekho India, you see the text and then you write what is written in that particular image. So this is two different things. In Dekho India is where you read. So there will be some slokos available and in Sanskrit or in Hindi. And then you write those Hindi and you type it in Hindi also. So this is where you can actually contribute. Amar Jyoti sir, can I get 2 minutes to demonstrate one of the case?
Yes, absolutely. There is you have another 7, 8, 10 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So this is Vasini. This is the site I said. So you can see this is my dashboard and this is Bolo India, Suno India, Likho India and Dekho India. So I'll just say maybe I will Suno India and I change to maybe Odia because I have to type in Odia. So now it will speak.
উদ্বোধন দেশে এক হইছন্তে উদ্বোধন দেশে এক হইছন্তে.
So this is 3-second audio. Some part of which is available, we need to translate it. Or so I will type it like this. It has a tool, very good tools it has. You can have Odia phonetic, InScript or Odia. So if I only write Odia, this is what I heard, Udbodhana. So I see the Udbodhana is not correct. So I can use again text also. I can change it and then I will save it. I submit it, then it will upload. So I contribute one. So like this, you can contribute like here also. ଏଥିରେ ସେ ବିଶେଷ ସଫଳତା ପାଇଥିଲେ. You have to write in English. So you write in English. You translate Odia to English. And then Bolo विज्ञापन सामग्री बिक्री बटा पाई विज्ञापन गुरु भूमिका रही. So you just start recording. So whatever I say, it will be recorded. You can see it is being recorded, but I will not save it. So let's try. विज्ञापन सामग्री बिक्री बटा पाई विज्ञापन गुरु भूमिका रही. I stop. विज्ञापन सामग्री बिक्री बटा पाई विज्ञापन गुरु भूमिका रही. So I'm satisfied with my text, so I submit it. So this is how I contribute. So secondly, I can also validate. Suppose এই সময়ে নাস্তিস্কর সামর্থ্য মধ্যে বৃদ্ধি পায়. This is somebody has contributed. So
এই সময়ে মস্তিষ্কর সামর্থ্য মধ্যে বৃদ্ধি পায়.
So nastisko, he has read as mastisko. So maybe it is correct. So I will write it correct. Maybe the spelling is wrong. Or I can skip it because I'm not sure whether it is nastisko or mastisko. So this is how if I select correct, so I contributed one more. So this is how you can contribute and you can get batches also. So they beautifully, they give some batches. I have got 3 batches earned. So in Dekho India, 2 batches and Likho India 1. And 16 I have contributed in Bolo and Suno in 8. So this is my structure where I have contributed more. In Bolo India, I have contributed 59% and rest all you can see. I got 3 bronze medal, and if I do more, I will get silver, gold, and platinum. Also, you can see leaderboard, and you can see Sumesh Singh, someone is here who has contributed 5,283. So this way, you can also contribute and be in the scorer. My rank is 201 in all India level. So if like me, you can contribute.
And more importantly, also we see this as a form of engagement for senior citizens. You can ask them about, you can contribute jokes, you can sing and contribute also. These are things that we encourage you to do.
So my last slide, AI is not a magic, it's just a tool. With little curiosity, you can use it and make your life easier, safer, and more joyful. Overutilization is also a thing of problem, so don't overuse it also. Let's embrace this new companion in our golden years. Thank you. I end this presentation here. Any questions? I am ready to take.
Sanjay, over to you. Thank you, Pradeep. That was remarkable.
Yeah, thanks, Pradyut. That was very informative session, and we can take a few questions if the participants would like some questions answered. Could you please place them in the chat box?
And Pradyut, can I request you to do a PDF of this and share it in the chat box?
Yes, I can do.
People, our participants have been asking for the numbers.
I have also shared our phone numbers and the email address for people who would like some time to ponder over what they've learned today and still have questions and would like to get back to us later. But for now, Pradyut is available for any queries you may have.
The presentation does share kar diya.
Yes, sir. I'm sharing, sir. Give me just 1 minute.
Then you can do the feedback form also.
Should I share in this chat?
Yes.
Okay, we have a query on whether we'll have more such programs. So Pradyut, there's a question asking how to start Bhashadan. So if you could just quickly just take that.
Yes, I have given this link. You have to just go to bhasini.com, bhasini.odisha.in, bhasini.gov.in/Bhashadan. There it will ask you to register yourself. You just have to give your email ID and a phone number because they want to ensure that you are a human, not an AI. And then you can start immediately. You can start the moment you click Bolo India, Dekho India, Suno India, or Likho India. It will automatically come. You don't have to do anything. And next, you can keep on doing that.
Meenakshi Das ma'am, she wants to ask a question. Can we allow her? Can you allow Mrs. Meenakshi Das ma'am to ask a question?
If you
Okay, let her put it in the chat box.
Okay. Ma'am, you can put in the chat box.
I am not able to log into ChatGPT because it is not accepting when I give my date of birth. It should not be it could be a technical issue. By the way, you can use it without also creating. If you have an email ID, that email, it will ask for an email ID. I hope you have an email ID that you can use.
Good, so I think Since these are use cases, I don't think there are much questions. Sanjay, please go ahead and wrap up. It's already, say, 3 minutes past.
Sure. So, yeah, we'd like to thank you all for joining us and staying with us for these 2 hours. We hope you found this useful. I think we have a question on whether we'll have more such programs, and we uh, definitely would like to engage with you further. We'll be reaching out to you for feedback, which we'll use to tailor more such programs, and hopefully we can continue this engagement. I'd like to give a vote of thanks to our speakers and our supporters from CSM. And I'll hand it over to Amarjyoti for final comments.
I actually don't have much to add, so except that judging by your enthusiasm and all, I think it's hugely encouraging us to carry on with more programs. And we've actually thought about it. Cybercrime and next modular programs, although we have a little bit of a challenge whether it should only be confined to people who've joined Masterclass #1 and then develop it further. So in the days we'll get in touch with you, sir. Thank you, and madams, thank you so much. And what is encouraging is from the Silver Age group, I can already see Mrs. Jayanti Rath has created a poem from Chat GPT and already sent to us. I can see comments that from today I'll use Chat GPT. So just have a good time, ma'am and sirs. Thank you so much. Sanjay, can you put up the full feedback form? So here there are 4 options. We just want you to give us a genuine feedback so that it will help us tailor better. Did you find the session useful? Yes, very much. It was okay, maybe, not sure, not much actually. So this helps us improve future programs and also encourages our speakers to. Thank you so much, everybody, once again. We'll leave the survey open.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening, good night, and we'll see you with the next program.
Pradyut, it was excellent, Pradyut. Vivek has been pinging me since yesterday that he is very nervous about it and all that. So a lot of effort from all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pradyut, it was very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, Lakna.
It was very engaging.
I try to make it interesting because
People like me do not understand. I get you. I understand you completely.
No. I keep telling this story. Of course, these are all side talks. No, I keep telling this to everybody that you see, you may have a brother, sister, spouse, girlfriend, nephew, niece, son, daughter, or may not. But all of us definitely have a father and a mother. So we understand this thing very well.
Yeah, and I just want to say to Vivek that wow, I mean, it was too much science for me, but yeah, I get it. Now I'll ask Pradyut to translate it to me so that I understand that better.
I apologize for subjecting you to all of that.
No, it's absolutely wonderful to hear you.
Thanks. Vivek, you must read Vivek's columns on AI. They're very interesting. And he discusses views and all. Thanks, Vivek, so much.
No, the pleasure was mine. Thank you for letting me do this, Amar. It's very heartwarming to be able to do this.
And
There's very few things that I do which are useful. This definitely is on top of that list.
final words from CEO CSM, Nanupani sir. I think he's just logged in.
He was there.
He is there.
He is.
And
You can.
any comments from Lucy madam and Banita madam?
Amazing program. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pradyut.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, Vivek sir. Really, really, really amazing work. But as Lagna said, too much of science. Little went into it. But anyway, we got the gist. It was really great. Really, really. Thank you so much. Thank you once again.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Hello. One moment.
Vivek, I liked the gods of technology make the gods of technology be kind on us.
No, it always goes wrong every time I don't pray to them, so I make sure I do it. There's somebody listening, I guess.
Yeah. You were saying something.
We would like to read Vivek's writing on AI. Vivek, some
Sorry?
writing. Yes.
I mean,
We would like to read your notes or your writings on AI.
I mean, if after this you want to subject yourself more, I'm very happy. But you know, I think if you just Googled it, there's a lot of it which is already there. But a few interesting pieces are coming up. Majority of it is in the print, but there are several other pieces in Financial Express, Deccan Herald, and so on as well.
Okay. So the members can read from Google or panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if they just put in my name and AI or something, usually it shows up.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Nanu, Lagna, Pradyut.
Thank you, ma'am.
Vivek.
And
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Right. It was a lovely session. Thank you.
Lucy madam has joined from Pune.
Yes. So we will end this session.
No. Let the feedback is still coming.
Oh.
Just keep it open. You can leave. Thanks.
Okay.
The feedback is done.
Already done. Only 40 responses.
Yeah.
So just to read out for the speakers, I'm not sure if you can see it. 83% is yes, very much. 15% is it was okay. Nobody voted. 0% is maybe not sure. And there's one person who voted not much actually. And we know who that is. So finally, thank you. No more thanks and.
Sir, I'm leaving now.
Pradyut बहुत बढ़िया. I owe a meeting with you.
Okay, sir.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thanks, everyone.